This week, Mercury the Messenger retrogrades back into the shadows of Scorpio, ruler of our subconscious. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for the week of Monday, November 17th through Sunday, November 23rd, 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger here with your weekly intuitive energy forecast. For this week, we're going to use a brand new deck. I got it around my birthday in October. It's called the Star Tarot, and this is by Kathy McClelland. So I look forward to using this. And our special message card, depending on our stone of choice this week, is going to be coming from The Shaman's Dream Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid and Alberto Vallaldo. So before we get into looking at the stones of choice or talking about the astrology for the week, let's go ahead, close our eyes, and do an empowered moment. So as you close your eyes, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, consciously relax your body, clearing your mind of all thoughts, and just being in the here and now, the present moment. Focusing on your breath as you breathe in and exhale out. Surrounding yourself with golden white light, seeing, sensing, feeling, or just knowing that you're surrounded in this unconditional love, guidance, protection, and healing energy. And let's take a deep conscious breath now and imagine that you're breathing in that golden white light into every cell of your body. As you exhale, letting your body relax even more and letting go of all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs in these next few moments. And this week, the focus of energy is on going within and doing even more healing on subconscious patterns and old stories, fears, anxieties. We're still in Scorpio season, and there's a lot of energy surrounding this energy of the scorpion, the eagle, and the phoenix. So again, we're going deep within our psyche, connecting to the shadow of our fears and doubts in order to bring light to them, in order to bring healing to them, in order to release them and let them go. So call in the shamans of the highest vibration of light now. Calling in the shamans, the healers of the highest vibration of light, and asking that during this week they assist you on a soul journey to bring healing and awareness to those old patterns and stories that still need to be transmuted, released, and healed. And thank those shamans of the highest vibration of light as you take one last deep healing, cleansing, and balancing breath. When you exhale and when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and return to this time and place and space. So let's go ahead and take a look at our stones of choice for the special message card a little bit later. So our first stone of choice, this is hematite. Yes, this is 3 pieces of hematite. They're very magnetized to one another. So the hematite is great for protection. It's great for focus and mental clarity. It helps us to ground our energies, brings in a feeling of safety and security. And also it helps us to connect with our courage as we move through that process of going deep within our psyche and bringing things out to be healed. The second stone of choice, I'm going to try to pronounce this. Chiastolite, I'm pretty sure that's it. So the chiastolite, you see this? It's a beautiful dark brown stone, like a chocolate brown stone. It's got a black X through it. That's always how it looks. It's always a brown stone with a black X in it. It is on both sides, the X. It's more clear though on this side. So the chiastolite helps to facilitate transformation by helping navigate periods of change. It also is very helpful when we are doing healing work on ourselves to connect us to deep insights. So I thought that was appropriate for this week as well. In fact, all of these stones are appropriate for this week. And then our last stone of choice is shungite. Shungite, yes, we know that it helps with EMFs, but it's also a stone of purification, purifying one's own physical body. It's great for protection energy as well. And we mentioned the protection from EMFs. This is a great stone for energy cleansing, so clearing or cleansing your energetic body. And it has a very strong grounding energy to it. So again, our stones of choice for this week are the hematite, the chiastolite, and the shungite. So let's talk a little bit about the astrology of the week. There is a lot of astrology for the week, and most of it has to do with Scorpio energy. So we start out on Monday the 17th with the sun in Scorpio. The sun is how we shine our light. It rules our ego. It rules our sense of self, our creative self-expression, but it's right now in mysterious, transformative Scorpio. And Scorpio does rule the shadows, right? What's hidden underneath the surface of our psyche or of situations. This can, obviously be on a collective level as well as a personal level, but the sun in Scorpio on Monday, and this happens very early in the morning, by the way. So if you're watching this video early, you're going to feel this on Sunday the 16th. But it connects to Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, and with Saturn, the planet of restriction. So it's actually forming what's called a grand trine. So it looks like a triangle here where we've got the sun in Scorpio at the apex or the point at the top. And at one of the points at the bottom of the triangle, we've got Jupiter in water sign Cancer. The other point is Saturn in water sign Pisces. This is actually known as a positive aspect pattern, but we are dealing with the push and pull of Jupiter versus Saturn. Jupiter, again, wants to expand into new horizons, expand into the big picture. Right now, it's expanding our emotions and our emotional body and emotional healing because it's in the sign of Cancer, which rules our emotions. Saturn, on the other hand, rules restriction, limitation, karmic lessons, responsibility, taking responsibility for the choices and decisions we make throughout our life. It's in Pisces right now, which is the last sign of the zodiac. So we're trying to clear out old patterns and old stories at this time. And with the sun in Scorpio highlighting that, again, that mysterious transformative shadow energy, it's helping to highlight those old stories and old patterns. And Jupiter is expanding us into a new perspective, a new way of seeing things. Saturn is asking, take responsibility and learn the lesson so you can move on. And then as we move into Tuesday the 18th, Mercury, the ruler of the mental realm, he's known as the messenger, ruling thoughts, ideas, perceptions, perspectives, and communications. Well, Mercury has already been retrograde, but he started his retrograde motion a few days ago in the sign of Sagittarius, fire sign Sagittarius. But on Tuesday the 18th of this week, Mercury is retrograding back into Scorpio. So here again, we have more Scorpio energy coming back into play. And this time Mercury is retrograde. Now, Mercury is going to be retrograde until November 29th. It's going to retrograde all the way back to 20 degrees of Scorpio before turning back to direct motion. And then, of course, it's going to continue to move through in a direct manner or a forward manner. It's going to continue to move through Scorpio into December. But with this time period of Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, again, it's internalizing this energy of thought processes and analysis and like researching information, because Scorpio likes to research. Mercury is about information. It's retrograde in Scorpio, so we're researching this information that has to do with our own, again, patterns. This may also bring in some Scorpio themes, such as other people's money and resources, or other people's values, meaning those relationships in our lives where maybe we're not on the same page with our values. So some of these things can also come into play, where we're, again, having communications about them with other people, or again, trying to process something within our own mind or in our own psyche. Now, on Wednesday the 19th, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is going to oppose Uranus, and it's going to make a positive trine to Neptune. Now, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. So with that being said, and Mercury also being retrograde, that's a lot of internalized energies going on. Mercury with Uranus, both retrograde, is saying it's time to awaken something within you so that you can free yourself or liberate yourself from some of these old patterns. It's that freedom and liberation of Uranus, that aha moment, that download and that higher insight that comes into play. And Neptune is supporting that, because Neptune rules the spiritual realm. It does rule illusion and confusion, so we might be a little confused, or this could even be some deceptive communication with Mercury going on, even though it's a positive connection. We might be deceiving ourselves, but this is also something to where our thoughts can create a reality, because Mercury rules our thoughts. It's in Scorpio, which is very magnetic. So really watch your thoughts, because it can magnetize to you the very thing that you're thinking. And with Uranus and Neptune here in the mix, that can really, again, connect us to the spiritual realm, because both of those planets are outer planets connecting us to evolution, growth, spirituality. And it can really start to pull in those things that our mind is contemplating or thinking about or envisioning, even those moments where we get into a negative space and we're thinking about things that are not so positive. That's why we have to watch our thoughts. And then also on Wednesday the 19th, we have a new moon in Scorpio. It's at 28 degrees of Scorpio. This is the dark of the moon, where the moon's light is not being reflected by the sun because it's a new moon. Both the sun and the moon are in Scorpio. So again, we've got this Scorpio energy of death and rebirth, transformation, regeneration, transmutation, transition that is going on right now. And this new moon is a new beginning. It's a new beginning into this realm of transformation and rebirth. And then on Thursday the 20th, we have the sun in Scorpio. And it is connecting to Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So now the sun's light, even though it's in the shadows of Scorpio, is highlighting this Mercury retrograde process. So whether it's research, review, revise, reevaluate, having further communications with people in our lives. This can include business as well. Scorpio is a business sign, as well as interpersonal relationships. And just again, really regurgitating our thoughts is the word that kind of comes in, or the phrase that comes in. So again, we might be mulling over something and really trying to pick apart and understand something. The pick apart really sounds like Virgo, but Scorpio wants to understand what's deep underneath the surface of it all. What is causing me to think or feel in the way that I do? What's the pattern that keeps being activated in my life, and why is it there? Where did it come from? Where did it start? Does it go back to a previous lifetime? So I feel like we're also going to be highly empathic and highly energetically sensitive all of this week, but the sun connecting with Mercury is going to highlight this ability to feel other people's energies and feel other people's emotions, telepathic communication perhaps even. And then on Friday, now it's the sun in Scorpio's turn to oppose Uranus retrograde in Taurus and to trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So earlier in the week, we had Mercury doing that. Mercury in Scorpio opposing Uranus and trining Neptune. Now on Friday, we have the sun opposing Uranus and trining Neptune. So, it's this similar energy with the Scorpio, deep shadow work. Really, that's really what I think the key phrase of the week is shadow work. Because Mercury is retrograde, it's giving us another time, right? We had this little bit of time where Mercury was in Sagittarius. And yes, it's true that Mars is in Sagittarius, but Mars is not highlighted in any way this week. And that really lightens and brightens the energy. But this is a lot of Scorpio energy. With Mercury being retrograde in Scorpio, it's allowing us another opportunity to do another clearing, energetically speaking. And after the sun opposes Uranus and trines Neptune, still on Friday, the 21st, the sun will then move into Sagittarius. So now the sun will join Mars in Sagittarius. This will lighten the energy a little bit. The sun will be in Sagittarius until December 21st. And so what is Sagittarius about? It's fire, it's passion, it's inspiration, it's optimism, it's looking at the big picture. And it's really expanding into new horizons. So again, we'll start to feel a little bit of relief Friday when the sun moves into the sign of the Archer. And then on Saturday, the 22nd, it's now Mercury and Scorpio's turn to make that grand trine to Saturn and Jupiter. Remember on Monday, the beginning of the week, we had the sun in Scorpio, trining Jupiter in Cancer, trining Saturn in Pisces, making that grand trine kind of energy. Now Mercury is the one doing this with those same planets of Jupiter and Saturn. Mercury is retrograde. Saturn is still considered retrograde. I think Jupiter's retrograde as well. If I remember correctly, I think Jupiter went retrograde last week. So again, a lot of internalized energy of clearing old karmic patterns and wounds, expanding us into greater empathy and healing our emotional body, all while, again, we're clearing the shadows. All right, so that's a little bit about the astrology. Let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides from my new Star Tarot deck. I'm so excited. I love this deck. I did a little reading for myself, of course, when I got it. I clear it, I cleanse it, I activate it, set good intentions with it, and I pulled some cards for myself. But these are cards for the collective. These are different. So, and what is interesting about this is that every single one of the three cards came out reversed. And when I say came out reversed, I am one that usually shuffles until cards kind of fall out. While I'm meditating with my eyes closed and I'm shuffling, I ask for whatever message is in the highest and best interest of the collective for whatever weekly reading or monthly reading that I'm doing. And typically cards will fly out, fall out, etc. And I always double check to ask, is this one of the cards for the message for the collective? And I proceed from there. But these cards all fell out reversed to my eyes. And I did ask to confirm, are they to be read reversed? And Spirit said yes. So the first one is Major Arcana 1. It's the Magician card. Now the Magician card is all about thoughts create reality, right? Your thoughts create your reality. You have the tools in your life, the magical tools to create and manifest whatever it is that you desire. This person's reaching for the star with their wand. Their wand is like high in the air. They've got all their tools around them. They've got tools on their little altar here. They've got a tool here, a tool here. But this came out reversed. So perhaps we've been trying to manifest something or manifest moving forward in our lives, and we're feeling stuck. We're not able to. Something's gone awry, so to speak. This can also be because sometimes the magician, you have to be careful what it is you want to manifest, right? What thoughts are you holding or what thoughts are you projecting? What magic spell are you trying to do, right? It's a magician. So what is the spell that you're putting out there through your words, thoughts, and intentions? This may actually be that, again, you're in a negative space. Maybe you're in a negative space within yourself. Maybe you're feeling negatively about a situation or a relationship. So you really have to watch those thoughts and those words, the communications that you're having, because they're like spells to the magician. So whether you're feeling stuck or limited or unable to manifest something, again, Mercury is retrograde. We got a lot of planets retrograde actually right now, right? You heard me mention some of them. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all retrograde right now, including Mercury. So of course things are more internalized right now than they are externalized. That might have us feel like we're unable to move forward in some way or unable to manifest what it is that we desire. So right now, just focus on keeping your mind in a positive space. Keep your mind focused on envisioning and visualizing what it is you want to create, because as soon as some of these planets turn back to direct motion, but especially Mercury, because Mercury is the fastest moving planet right now, and it's going to turn back to direct motion November 29th. So that is going to give us a little bit of like headway, so to speak. We've already been visualizing and seeing and praying and putting out intentions in a positive manner. When Mercury goes direct, and then especially when it moves back into Sagittarius, and like I said, Mars is in Sagittarius, which is a very kind of activating energy too. I feel like we're going to start to see the movement. Now, some of those other planets that I mentioned that are retrograde, some of them are not going to turn back to direct motion until early 2026. I think Saturn actually will turn back to direct motion before the end of this year. But the rest of those planets, it's going to be early 2026. But that's okay, right? Jupiter likes, Jupiter likes to expand, but when Saturn turns back to direct motion, it's going to be like a big clearing of karmic lessons is behind us, as long as you're doing the work, because Saturn asks us to do the work. But for right now, just hold the positive intentions, keep using your tools, your ideas, your creative abilities, and believe in yourself. And know that right now it's just about divine timing, that something is aligning on a spiritual level. Something it has to wait until the time is right, so that those energies on the spiritual level are aligned so that the manifestations can start to occur. All right, so let's put that down here and let's look at card number 2. Card number 2 is also a major arcana. It's major arcana 9. It's the Hermit. Okay, now it came out reversed, but the Hermit in its upright position, it's about going within and doing a lot of like self-healing or soul searching or contemplation or meditation. It's about lighting your own way or finding your inner light. It's about listening to your intuition. It's about solitude. And so having periods of time where you're in solitude so that you can recharge your batteries, so that you can really listen to spirit, so that you can connect with nature, and you can hear that the messages from the universe. So he's got an owl here. Usually the Hermit has that owl of wisdom with him. Now, what is it when it's reversed? When it's reversed, perhaps we're feeling lonely instead of just choosing to be alone. It's like choosing to be alone because we want silence and we want to contemplate and just, be within ourselves. That's different than feeling lonely or cut off from other people. So there might be something here with the Hermit reverse where we feel, again, cut off from socialization from other people. We're feeling a little down, lonely, depressed, etc. Even if it's self-imposed being alone, we still have that loneliness sort of feeling. The other thing with the Hermit reversed is maybe we're not able to hear the inner guidance from our own higher soul self. Maybe we feel like our intuition is off right now. And I think that, again, with Mercury being retrograde and all this Scorpio energy going on, it is asking us to go within like the Hermit does. The Hermit goes within to, again, find his inner light, listen to his inner intuition, and heal, on an inner level. But I feel like, because we have so much Scorpio and Mercury's retrograde in Scorpio, that again, maybe we're not trusting our own process. I feel like this is not trusting your intuition, not trusting the messages that you're receiving, not trusting that you're heading in the right direction. Maybe you feel in suspended animation, like absolutely nothing is happening. And Mercury is in a water sign. So what's happening is more emotional and energetic than it is action-oriented. This is not an action-oriented kind of week. It's an internalized healing process kind of week. So don't get in any of the negative places and spaces of the Hermit reversed here. Try to, again, shift the perspective to moving forward with your own healing process and connecting with your own inner light and wisdom. All right, let's put that down. The last card, also reversed, also a major arcana. Major arcana 20, the Judgment card, Judgment. So this is what it looks like upright, right? We've got this beautiful, what I'm going to picture as a female Native American with her Native American garb on. She's kind of opening her hands as if praying to or sending healing energy to something greater, something higher than herself. We've got the phoenix up here. We've got the image of I don't know if that's a bear or a buffalo. It looks like a buffalo. I'm going to say it's buffalo. So we've got the image of the buffalo, which normally the image of the buffalo for Native Americans is about abundance. And here with the image of the phoenix, it's about rising from the ashes, born anew. This is a rebirth card. It's a card of rebirth. It's a card of almost like celebration of that rebirth. Got this rainbow kind of bridge, from the earthly realm to the higher realms going on here. We've got the sun kind of highlighting the way. The thing that's missing from this Judgment card that most other Judgment cards and other tarot decks has is a lot of different souls kind of rising. Usually this can indicate our ancestors, our past lives, our, again, our old selves that are rising into this, healing process. The Judgment card typically also has Archangel Gabriel blowing his trumpet, blowing his horn, which is calling the soul to attention. This is a call to pay attention to something. Now it's reversed again. So what does this mean with Judgment reversed? Maybe that process feels like it's taking longer than we want. Maybe we feel blocked from going through a death and rebirth, transformation and regeneration. Maybe we feel stuck in some old patterns that relate back to old past lives that we have yet to heal and clear. Maybe we feel a lack of abundance. Maybe we feel a lack of our own kind of self-identity, which would allow us to create abundance in our lives. Perhaps we feel like we're descending instead of ascending. Or at the very least, perhaps we just feel like we're stuck in suspended animation here. So again, none of the reversals that are being shown here with the Magician, the Hermit, the Judgment, it's not saying bad things. It's just saying maybe delays. It's saying more work is to be done on an energetic, subconscious level to bring healing into play. It's saying to, again, watch your words because your words create your reality. Really tune into the inner wisdom within yourself and know that you are connected to divine infinite source and you are connected to your higher soul self, even if it might not feel like it right now. And that, again, this rebirth is happening, but perhaps until Mercury turns back to direct motion, perhaps we're not going to feel that rebirth happening. So we're going to, during the week here, work in whatever ways are needed to turn these cards around and have them move us in the right direction through the healing work that we're consciously doing on our own subconscious patterns, fears, doubts, past life wounds, negative mindsets, emotional repeating, situations. So do the work, be in silence, be in contemplation, and listen to the messages that you're getting. Maybe get some healing work too. This might be a great week for getting an intuitive reading, getting a shamanic session, or a hypnosis past life regression session, or Reiki session, or any kind of healing work. And definitely you're going to come out the other side, I promise. And we're going to go ahead and see what messages come out depending on your stone of choice. So I thought the shaman's dream was appropriate for all the Scorpio energy. We'll give this a little shuffle. And the first stone of choice is the hematite. So special message for the hematite people for this week. Hematite people. This one's calling my attention. Whoops, almost dropped these. It says jeweled web connectivity. So this is saying to go deeper than you have been, because the jeweled web is saying that there's this interwoven web between your past, your present, and your future. And the fact that it's called the jeweled web of connectivity is that, again, all these different layers are connected. There's no time, there's no space, right? Past, present, future, all happening simultaneously. But even in the shadows, even in the darkness, even in the challenges, there's gifts here to be had. I think that's why it's the jeweled web, because our greatest challenge in this lifetime, or if you feel like you have more than one, like I do, your greatest challenges in this lifetime are your greatest gifts. So if you can move through and bring healing and awareness to those greatest challenges, you'll find the gift within them. So definitely know that with your soul having chosen these karmic lessons in this life, and again, past, present, and future, happening simultaneously, that means that if we heal a past life wound, we're healing our present and our future. If we're healing in the present time, we're healing the past and the future. So knowing that no matter what healing or what kind of healing we're doing, and I mentioned past, like past life regression, right? Shamanic healing that can get into some past life stuff. We're healing all levels simultaneously. And we're connecting with our gifts, talents, and abilities. We're connecting to our soul's greatest light, the jeweled web, as we do this healing. And knowing too that we're all connected. As we heal ourselves, we're healing our ancestors. As we heal ourselves, we're healing our friends, our family, our loved ones in our lives. As we heal ourselves, we're helping to heal the collective. So know that everything is interconnected in this way. All right, let's put that back in case somebody else gets it. The next stone of choice was the chiastolite. Chiastolite people. Special message for the week for chiastolite. Well, that one just popped right up, didn't it? This one says a tidy house, clarity and organization. Now, we could take this literally and say maybe there's some clutter in your home or your office that you need to tidy up. And as you tidy up the disorganization, that you're going to allow yourself to have more clarity. Because when we live in a disorganized environment, we can have disorganized thoughts. Our energy is disorganized. So quite literally, clean some stuff out, right? Clean out that drawer, clean out that bookshelf, clean out your home, purge some items, get rid of it, because that's going to leave space, especially as we are getting ready to enter a new year. It will create space so that new things, new energies can come into play. Now, this can also be metaphoric, right? The jumbled energies in the mind or in our energy system. Maybe there's a block in one of our chakras. Maybe there's mental blocks that's happening. So as we clear the disorganization, as we organize our energy bodies, right? We go through and we balance all the chakras. We go through and we do a kind of a sweep of our energy field and eliminate blocks, have Archangel Michael pull cords, have Archangel Raphael infuse healing light. As we're reorganizing our own energies, then again, clarity appears. And that means movement. Like once we have clarity or clear space, then we can have some movement. It's like walking into a room that's from floor to ceiling, boxes and boxes and boxes everywhere. If you walk into that room, you're not going to be able to really move around very well. But if you clear away all those boxes and you create space, then there's movement. You are able to move through that room. And the same is going to be true when you clear out some old disorganized energies. All right. So let's put that back in the deck. And then the last stone of choice is the Shungite. Shungite, people, special message for the week. Shungite. Shungite. This one's calling my attention. Okay. So, okay, you guys. 3 cards want to come out. We're not going to do 3 cards, though. I'm going to put them face down. I'm going to muscle test them. First card. No. Second card. No. Third card. Yes. And the third card was the one that was kind of on top, so that makes sense. And it says dances on one foot, balancing act. All the Scorpio energy going on, all the healing taking place, all of the revisions and the reevaluations that are happening with Mercury retrograde. It might be a little bit of a balancing act for you this week. And balancing actions, but also balancing your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body. So again, it comes back to, again, doing some healing work. Staying as balanced as you can. There might be some overwhelm that's happening this week. I'm trying to even decipher what this picture even is. I'm sure if I looked in the guidebook, it would tell me. But this is, I feel like this is balancing especially our emotions. So especially because we have a new moon in Scorpio this week, right? And Scorpio does rule our clairsentience, our empathic ability, the magnification of shadow energies. So I think that if we balance our emotional body, healing baths, walks in nature, grounding stones like the Shungite that you chose, and many, many other things, right? Doing Reiki on yourself, meditation, all of these things are going to help you to balance your own emotional body. Now, that's not to say that there's not a lot of, even though it feels like an internalized week, there still might be activities in the external real world that is causing a little bit of this imbalanced energy. I feel like it may help to make a list. Like I know when I feel a little overwhelmed by a lot of different things I have to do for my spiritual work, I don't want to forget what I need to do. So I'll actually make a list on a sticky note or something and just check it off as you go. Like I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to go here, I got to go there, I got to buy groceries, whatever it is. So make a list, and that will help you to feel more balanced because you have it down and you won't miss it, you won't forget it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your comments, your love, and your support. I send you all lots of love and light and many, many blessings. Until we see each other next week and soon next month for the last month of the year, December. Namaste, everyone.